Today's video, we're going to be checking out the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Deadpool Back in Black. Now, if Deadpool's appearance seems a little strange, let me provide a little background 411 on him. He first debuted back in Deadpool Back in Black, which was published in October 2016. Basically tells the story that in 1984's Secret Wars, it was actually Deadpool that was introduced to the alien costume, not Spider-Man. The costume eventually did go to the wall crawler, but then was rejected and eventually found its way back to Deadpool, and then some adventures would follow afterwards. To find out how tall Deadpool is, let's grab the tape measure. If I was to tell you that this figure is a little taller than 6 inches, would you believe me? You wouldn't. Shame on you. Grabbing the tape measure, you can see he's just a little taller than 6 inches. He's about 6¼ inches in height. For his accessories, let's have a look at some weapons first. Comes with a pair of katanas. Might I add, katanas with some really nice translucent purple for blades. Look out. They are the same well, they're not the same translucent, but they're the same katanas that we've seen with other figures, sporting katanas. Just so happens that he gets translucent purple blades. How about that? I wish that he had actually had the means to properly hold the katanas. Let me correct myself on that. He does have these swappable hands to hold these, but when not holding them, I wish that he had actually had a sheath or sheaths on the back of his torso that could have easily been attached, obviously, to the peg hole there, and he could have held the katanas if he so chose not to wield them. Probably will be likely to display him with the swords, but I kind of wish, though, again, they would have included some sheaths to go along with that. What they do, however, come included with, or what he comes included with, is a series of 4 Symbiote Arms, all coming together very happily and merrily to one connection point right in the middle, right there. It is actually, from looks to be, the same web back attachment as the one that came with the Marvel Legends, I believe, Walgreen exclusive Agent Venom, which I guess coincidentally enough would then be perfect for Back in Black Deadpool here. Could have also used the Superior Venom as an option because he came with the webs as well, a little bit more frantic and dangerous looking webs. These are kind of a little bit more playful sort of webbing. I guess makes more sense for a character such as Deadpool than maybe Superior Venom's webs. Again, it adds a little extra to him that if you don't simply want to have Deadpool displayed as such just without, you can incorporate the webbing on the back. And luckily, much like most Marvel Legends additional add-on pieces, again, you can just untab them if you don't feel like you're in a Deadpool web-wearing sort of day. Today's not the good day for that. Maybe a Wednesday, not so much Tuesday. I'll take those off as well. And speaking also of Venom, he comes also with an interchangeable head, which does look like the Superior Venom head sculpt, slightly changed, but still looks like it's the same head sculpt. You can go ahead and take the existing head off. Now this starts getting into territories further removed from Deadpool, but still, if you want to, if you want to have this particular head sculpt, you can certainly accommodate that. And actually, it does look pretty good. Just I prefer the Deadpool head sculpt myself. Really cool little sculpted lines there. Also, I really love the furrowed brow there. Really digging that. I know. You prefer the Deadpool head? Me too. Put that right back on. Comes with a couple of other accessories as well. Let's get the head on completely before we do anything else. Defaulted out of packaging, he comes with one partially closed or gripping hand, and then he has one web shooting hand. Now, luckily, they did give you an extra gripping hand, but they sadly didn't give you an extra web shooting hand. I suppose if you have a black costume Spider-Man, or perhaps maybe like, trying to think of, maybe, I'm trying to think of I guess there are other Spider-Mans that have black hands. You could probably simply find one that has a web shooting hand. But he does have only, sadly, one. Like I said, going back to the katanas though, he does have a gripping hand, so you just swap those babies out, those bad boys. Really only swap the one out, and he can instantly hold the katanas in his hand. And lastly, he comes with these really cool clawed hands, which have made appearances before. Don't certainly mind that they include them as well for Deadpool. I wish he kind of had other, I don't want to say weapons. I guess there's enough really weapons with all the other Marvel Legends to be released that you could easily find a pair of pistols if you want to give it to this particular Merc with the mouth. So those are your accessories. We'll move all those out of the way. And let's have a look at Deadpool here. Not a bad looking figure in all honesty. Of course, many just old molds being brought out. Dust blown off. Head sculpt, of course, is a carryover from a previous released Deadpool. Looks perfectly fine. The colors seem very simple, and that's because they are basic whites and blacks incorporated to the majority of this figure. There's a little bit of silver right around his, well, his Merc with the mouth Deadpool logo there on his belt. Other than that, though, he's pretty much all white and black. And the white and black accomplish things well enough, but as to be expected, areas such as white painted on top of plastic never goes well. And sadly, this Deadpool is no exception. This top part here generally is pretty good, pretty clean, because it looks like it's been black painted over white. Down below here, it looks like it's been white painted over black, and then the end result is you've got really unfinished white paint making up the majority of those decorations on the sides of his leg. The arms fare a little bit better, but not nearly the train wreck that the legs are. And even like the face would look a little on the splotchy side, but I think it's just by the fact that he's so absent of color, and even like his pupils and eyeballs are black, so there's really not a lot, driving him home here. Maybe a more zanier expression would have worked as well, but again, you're working with older molds that you only have so much to go by. If they had given him a more expressioned face, say on the original Deadpool, the Hasbro released Deadpool, I guess they could have easily used that head sculpt, but they used what they had available, and again, it's a very, I don't want to dare say boring, but it does definitely have very little personality to it. Once again, going back to points I'm sure I made at the time that we looked at the Deadpool initially, I do like that there's that little wrinkly areas where the mask has been pulled around the areas such as the ear. So you can see like the ear outline, little stretched areas of the mask behind that. No complaints really for the mask. The paint just unfortunately doesn't really do a lot to sell the mold. The mold is good, and again, from basically like the head down, you're getting a same regular mold for Marvel Legends. There's not really a whole lot different with this Deadpool than some of the other, of course not Deadpools, but just Marvel Legends in general. So again, the mold and the head, I know I've said mold a lot, the head and the lower torso and the lower legs, nothing is new to this figure. Simply just repainting over top of it and giving us one of the many, many costumes that Deadpool has sported over the years in comics. I think it's a safe bet, but unfortunately just because he's just so simply white and black, an additional expression or something on the face could have gone a long way, but unfortunately they only had what they had to work with to simply paint over top of the existing. Let's have a look at his posability, by the way. His head is on a universal joint, so his head rotates all the way around and hinge up and down, all tried and true go-tos. Shoulders hinge out on universal joints, rotate all the way around. You got the swivel in the bicep, double hinge on the elbow, but the double hinged aspect of it never really generally works, because what ends up happening is the bicep is so big. So big. How big is it? Well, it's so big you can't even bend the arm. You know, you can get to about there. That's as much as you're going to get from a double bend, a double hinge in the elbow of Marvel Legends. The biceps are just simply too big to accommodate anything more than that. You also get the rotation in the hand and a hinge back and forth, an upper torso crunch, not to mention a waist swivel. And then you've got ball jointed legs, a top swivel cut on the thigh, Got your double hinge knee, which works a lot better than the double hinge in the elbow. A swivel on the lower calf area of the lower leg. And then you've also got the up and down motion on the foot, as well as an ankle rocker. Don't worry, don't worry. He does also have peg holes on the undersides of his feet. Should you want to have a little bit more creativity with the way you pose the figure, you could probably accomplish that a little bit better by the fact that he's got the peg holes on the undersides of his feet. For fans of the original Marvel Legends Deadpool released by Hasbro, you won't find a whole lot in the way of new offerings provided here in the Back in Black version of Deadpool. Essentially, it's just simply a coat of paint that's been slapped over top of an existing mold. He does have a couple of good, pretty cool extra accessories, more importantly the katanas he's currently sporting. I wish he could have had a sheath on the back of his torso that those katanas could have been stored away when he's not hacking and slashing. The interchangeable Venom head as well as the interchangeable hands are also a nice touch, as well as the symbiotic 4 additional hands, the torso piece that goes on his back, also a really nice touch. The only thing I would say, unfortunately, for this figure is, well, he boils down to a repaint of an existing figure. I wish they could have used maybe a more expressioned Venom face to get the point across, because ultimately white on black and then black on white for his eyeballs makes for the face a little bit on the bland side. Still a great pickup, especially if you like the Deadpool Back in Black comic run. Today we were having a look at the Marvel Legends series. This was the Deadpool Back in Black figure. If you guys haven't had a chance yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below. Of course, more videos will be coming your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.